Hey traders, Charting Man Dan at the Chart Guys. Before we get to the crypto charts, we've got a webinar for free tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern. Chart Guys, Jungle Funk Joey is going to go over identifying trends and how different time frames relate with each other. I'm going to put a link in the comments of this video. Sign up and get a link to the live stream. If you missed the live stream, a replay will be sent to you, and also a PDF little cheat sheet will be sent to you as well. Check it out. So Bitcoin. We have a clear rejection from 25.2 thousand at this point. A lot of people were watching for the possibility of an ascending triangle, which is generally a bullish pattern. It's when you have a horizontal resistance line and then you just have a series of higher lows. But we broke the 4-hour higher lows. So for me, that is the possible 4-hour ascending triangle failing. And so that's definitely a win for the bears in the short term. They defended resistance. So we rejected from the weekly 25.2 level. We rejected from monthly EMA 12 resistance. Is it game over? Certainly not. Because at this point in time, the bulls on the daily chart still hanging around. We did lose short-term support of 23.8, but I would have expected a decent bit more of stops triggering on that level breaking. We're now back testing it. If we were to back test it and fail, it would be a potential hourly bear flag, which could see follow through. Another thing to note is the relative strength of Bitcoin compared to the NASDAQ has shifted to relative weakness. So Bitcoin divided by the NASDAQ, we can see that we had a bit of a 4-hour rising wedge. It's always cool when patterns play out on instruments that, I trusted this rising wedge less, but it played out just like a rising wedge. So Bitcoin had relative strength against NASDAQ consistently for the last week plus, and today is the weakest day that Bitcoin has been compared to the NASDAQ in a couple of weeks. So what the bears want to see from here, if they're going to continue to keep short-term control, is lose the daily EMA 12, and next time we bounce, confirm a 12-hour downtrend. So we've got a big enough pullback where next bounce there is space for a 12-hour lower high, and if bears can confirm a 12-hour downtrend, we'll be shaping up a weekly bull flag with zero follow through, which again is something that the bears would love to see. As far as the short term here, the hourly downtrend is our guide on Bitcoin. We've been rejecting from EMA resistance all overnight. Anything under 24.2 is just a lower high, and we would need to see a big bounce to try and shape up an hourly uptrend. FOMC minutes come out here in 35 minutes. I don't expect them to have a significant impact on the market, but we'll see a short-term spike in volatility. So hourly downtrend resistance is our guide, and we're just playing the zoom out game at this point. Confirm the hourly uptrend, we'll zoom out, scout a 4-hour lower high. If we get bounce follow through, we'll zoom out and scout a 12-hour lower high. But a short-term win for the bears. Now the question is, can the bears go on offense? The bears just played defense at resistance. Can they go on offense? S&P 500's putting in a green day today. Nothing, very notable about today. We started with some weakness. We've got a bounce going. We've got a 15-minute megaphone, and we might just be breaking it right now. Megaphones give me a bit of trouble as far as lacking clarity, and we're close to breaking it bull, but it was a nice little megaphone there. And daily bounce trying to shape up in the broader market. Dominance chart sideways for the last 6 days, nothing really going on. So that tells me that while Bitcoin is pulling back, the altcoins are pretty much pulling back step for step. We're not seeing one group do anything significantly different than the other. So as long as we're sideways here, that tells me pretty much Bitcoin and altcoins are doing the same thing. ETH. Another thing to note, another pattern that we're watching, if the bears do follow through, is these megaphones. Again, another megaphone, but this is a 12-hour clear uptrending resistance line. Nope, that's not it. The downtrending support line is right here. You can see plenty of touches. So we got 4 separate touches of support, 5, 6, 7 resistance touches. So if we confirm a 12-hour downtrend whenever the next bounce is, we're going to be watching for this downtrending support line to potentially come back into play. And Ethereum has the same thing. So we'll look at that first before we zoom in, but 12-hour uptrending resistance line, downtrending support line. A little bit less confidence in this support. Only a few touches here. There's 3. But clear rejection from resistance, big pullback, a lot of space for a 12-hour lower high. Entirely possible that these major names in crypto remain range bound for a good bit longer. And we're about to look at some altcoins that have some nice tightening ranges to be watching, and they can easily stay within those ranges for another week or so. ETH BTC testing the lows, on the verge of seeing the weakest that it's been in a long time. Over 3 months. We are down at those lows. We got a daily downtrend. We got daily EMA 12 resistance. As long as we're in a downtrend on this pairing, that tells us that ETH is a better short than Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is a better long than ETH. So we'll keep an eye on that. And LTC has the same thing. Litecoin, weekly, the Litecoin BTC pairing, weekly equilibrium is a double bottom here. And we're watching very closely because if this pattern breaks bearish, it would be the first weekly downtrend that we've seen since we gained the weekly uptrend back in August. So that would be essentially a notable shift, and Litecoin would be back being a lead bear. Litecoin has been a lead bear over the last few days on this pullback. It's a much more significant pullback than Bitcoin and ETH. There's a lot of space for a daily lower high here. We can bounce 10% and be looking for a daily lower high. So keeping a close eye for, if I'm looking bearish, best case scenario would be waiting for Litecoin, hoping Litecoin bounces here, and then looking for a daily lower high to base a stop loss off of, and then having LTC BTC confirm a bear break of that weekly support. That would be best case scenario for a bear looking for a position in Litecoin. So now we're going to look at some of these altcoins, and these 2-day time frames are really nice and clear. And there's more than I'm going to list here. Well, we're not going to look at those names first. First, Matic. So Matic's looking for a daily higher low. Matic retracement size is, again, opening the door up for an equilibrium where we're looking for the daily higher low, but we retraced over 50%. So we're going to be looking for the potential of a daily lower high to be the result of next bounce as well. And again, another name that can bounce 10% and just be looking for that lower high. 4-hour oversold conditions were hit overnight, and bulls are shaping up an hourly trend change right now, trying to. So low, high, higher, low. Relative strength against Bitcoin. I don't even have to look at the Bitcoin pairing because I know Bitcoin dropped to a lower low here. Matic did not. So hourly higher low set, and if we break 138, it's an hourly uptrend confirmed, and the 4-hour oversold bounce will be underway. So keeping an eye on that tightening Matic hourly range. Now we got the 2-day tightening ranges. So sand. And again, if you are not in a position in these names, you want them to get as tight as possible. Because the tighter they get, the better the follow through on the break. So high, low, lower, high, and we are scouting a higher low compared to 65 cents. And so aggressive bulls are looking for these 2-day higher lows to try and shape up. And the first indication that a 2-day higher low is shaping up would be a 4-hour trend change back to the bulls. So there's still a lot of work to do. We don't even have a 4-hour bounce underway for sand, stair-step drop. But just keeping an eye on it, bigger picture, if we get a big enough bounce, trying to set the trend change to set a 2-day higher low. And I'm on the 2-day time frame just because it condenses it a little bit. We can ignore these wicks and just look at the bigger picture move. And OP, someone just said we had a short squeeze in the chat room. Let's see about that. Definitely a big move up. So OP finding a bottom here. This is potentially the 2-day higher low being set, and it looks like it is now. So big move straight off the low, a lot of volume behind it. And again, just a nice 2-day equilibrium. I'm viewing this as our high, low, lower high, and we're on the verge of that higher low being set. Maybe we set another lower high. And again, these names can tighten up for a while. Maybe sand takes another day to find a 2-day higher low. Then we bounce for 3 days, set a lower high. So next thing you know, we're into next week, keeping that in mind. But OP is doing exactly what bulls hope happens on these 2-day tightening ranges. Sushi, same deal. High, low, lower high. We're scouting the higher low compared to 120. A lot of space for it to form. We can stay in this tightening range for another week. And we'll be watching to see the direction these equilibriums break. And you can just go down the list. Again, there's more of them there. You can see OP standing out in a big way. But other names in tightening 2-day ranges, let's just go real quick. So we know OP, Sand, AXS possibly trying to form a higher low compared to 916. I like that setup less because of all this price action back here. APT is trying as well. It's definitely a weaker name, but trying to hold 1234 for the 2-day higher low. QNT trying to hold a 2-day higher low. Atom trying for a 2-day higher low. So a lot of names in tightening 2-day ranges, names that are not in tightening 2-day ranges. We're looking for different things. But I would make a list, if I were you, of names that you like trading, names that you're familiar with that are in these 2-day tightening ranges. Maybe you keep an eye on 3 of them. You decide, do I want to try for these higher lows? If so, you establish your game plan. And if not, then you patiently wait for these tightening 2-day ranges to break. Just going through the list here real quick to see if there's anyone that I missed. Ape is looking for a 2-day higher low compared to 476. Doge is looking for one. And the names that broke out are looking for 2-day higher lows, just in an uptrend, not a tightening range. So ICP heading towards 4-hour oversold conditions, not there quite yet. Let's see if APT follows OP. Oftentimes they trade similarly. APT, definitely not as strong as OP here. All right, that's where we stand. So we're going to watch Bitcoin for a 12-hour lower high. We're going to watch a lot of these names for 2-day higher lows. And we're certainly going to keep a close eye on the broader market to see if SPY can give us a bull flag like Bitcoin gave us. SPY, if we can hold, if SPY and QQQ can hold weekly EMA 12 on the back test, that's what Bitcoin did to form the bull flag. So bulls are hoping that momentum starts to shift over the next couple of days in SPY and QQQ. We'll be keeping an eye on that as well. Hope you're well, do good things, and we will check back in before the end of the week.